Hello and welcome to our panel session with the team who are organizing the African Global Trade and Investment Mission, which will be taking place in March this year. My name is Dr. Kemi Adebayo, also known as Makayi, and I'm going to just ask you all to introduce yourself, just to tell us who you are, a little bit about who you are, and I'll start with a young fine gentleman, there. I think you're overshadowed here by all the amazing ladies here. So tell us who you are.
Someone this morning was already saying you look like Gaddafi, but anyway, that was a joke. Thank you so much for the great opportunity and for the introduction, and thanks to the team. My name is Oliver, aka Fortune Chikodzore, known as Oliver Fortune. I'm the CEO and the president of the African Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center.
Wow, thank you. You're welcome, Oliver. So let's go on to our dear sister there.
Hello, Mamayi. My name is Daniella Djan. I am the Director of Peculiar Prodigy, and it falls under the creative media industry and education sector.
Wow, thank you, Daniella.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Kemi. I'm Mamorena Matsoso, the CEO at HITCHAT Entertainment.
Wow, entertainment. I would love to hear more about what you do. And last but not the least.
Hello, Makayi. My name is Makayi, and I am the founder of Perfect Symphony, and we work mostly with females.
Wow, I will want to hear a lot more because I love working with females, because I believe there's a lot we can do with our women. So let me now go back to the reason why we're having this, and I know you're all the team members of, this conference, which is happening. So my dear brother Fortune, Oliver, tell us a little bit more about the conference and what it's about, when it was started, why are we doing this?
Thank you so much. Raised by a single mom living in a community where we all face the same challenges that every young person is facing. And listen to the state and the government talking about creating jobs, and we realize that the government cannot create jobs, but it is entrepreneurs who can create jobs. And if we don't empower people to become entrepreneurs, nobody gets paid, including them, which is the state and the government. So the event was it started in 2013. It's almost about 9 years ago.
Wow. And
the idea was to bring the African entrepreneurs together, because when we come together, we create a market among ourselves as entrepreneurs, because for us, events are just like marketing. Marketing is creating an awareness about a product or service. So the idea was to bring them together, create marketing opportunity, sharing of knowledge, as well as access to finance, intellectual property investment. So that's how we started. This upcoming event, it's our 9th edition of the AIEC Global Trade and Investment Conference. We have investors that have pledged to fund up to $10 billion of projects within the following sectors, which will be agriculture and agro-processing. There's creative industry, manufacturing, energy and mining projects. So we're already doing pre-meetings, engaging businesses or project owners who are seeking for finance. As you know, finance is one of the biggest challenge, especially post-pandemic. How do we bounce back and rebuild our businesses and redevelop the Africa that we need? So I'm so excited. It's also the first event that we're having after lockdown.
Lockdown, COVID-19.
So it was crazy. And how do we continue and bounce back? So I'm really looking forward. The event will take place from the 25th of March to the 31st of March. So we have...
and where will it be taking place? Are you able to share that?
Yes.
I know we'll be sharing the details at some point,
so it will be in Stellenbosch, Cape Town, South Africa, at a wine estate called Hasenda Wine Estate, one of the best conference facilities in South Africa. You have the opportunity to be in nature, have wine, play.
So there's a lot, and I'm sure as well, that's going to be happening. It's not just about the conference. There's going to be tour, there's going to... Yes?
So there's lots of activities. There's conference presentations, there's exhibitions, there's wine tours, Peninsula tours, there's CEO's forum, there's optimized investment sessions, as well as we're going to be visiting some of the manufacturing sites, factories, for those that are looking to joint venture opportunities with South African businesses. especially in agriculture and creative sector. So it's going to be quite a lot of activities going on.
Awesome.
This is the event you can't miss in 2023.
Oh, I love that. So let me ask first, actually, because I know, like I said at the introduction there, this is part of your team. This is not everybody. So, who are behind the scenes helping to make this happen, for that day. So let me start with Daniella. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what your business is about.
So Peculiar Prodigy is, as I said, falls under the creative media industry and education sector.
Right.
I am a multi-published author. I'm an editor, educator, speaker, as well as a certified life coach.
Wow.
Our scope of work falls under communication strategy. So we do training programs, we do copywriting, publications, publishing, consulting, as well as writing content for children. And it's all under the umbrella of empowering and uplifting communities and top-level leaders in different sectors.
Wow, that's good. We'll be sharing your details there because it's interesting to find somebody who's that multi-skilled, and what you're bringing to this conference as well. So let me go on to my dear sister there, Mamorena. Can you tell us about as well what you do? Because I know I'm just fascinated as well about your business.
Yes, thank you so much. And I hear Daniella talking about uplifting, communities, and this is basically what we do at HITCHAT Entertainment. We really exist to identify, develop, and train talents from disadvantaged communities to become professional artists. And how do we do it? We do it through what we call the T-pop model, which is township pop.
Okay. I saw that last year. I remember.
Yes.
That was the first time I saw that.
Exactly.
That was awesome.
Yes.
So you're behind, training for that?
Yes,
okay.
and that is our first girl band.
Right.
Called 4am. We launched in February 2021.
Right.
Yes.
Also, so you're the CEO,
Yes,
founder
I'm the
of
CEO
HITCHAT.
of HITCHAT.
So we will share your details as well. So last but not the least, I love that here, by the way, as well. And I like the fact that you're sitting close to me as well. So Tatenda, tell us who you are and what your business, services you offer.
I am the founder of Perfect Symphony.
Okay.
And what we do at Perfect Symphony, we work with females. So that is starting from puberty all the way to post-menopause.
Right.
And we help females to understand their hormones. Because we noticed that when we started off, we were just dealing with females that are struggling with things like PCOS, endometriosis, perimenopause, and menopause. But when we looked back from all the interactions we were having with women, we noticed that we need to start from the teens, from the young girls, getting them to understand their hormones. That way they don't have these problems that we're dealing with. So that is why now we are trying to start with the younger you are, the more information we input in you, the more we reduce the chances of all hormonal imbalances and things that tend to affect women later on in life. And what we do is we like to go into communities to teach women about these things, to understand what's going on, so that they are well educated to teach their daughters as well. But what we're also working on now is to empower more women with this knowledge so that they're able to take it into their communities as well.
You guys are just doing amazing work in the community and in terms of children, women, and like Oliver said, from a single mother who, brought him up and is now basically doing a lot of work with powerful women like you. Wow, I feel so intimidated now, with all of you and what you're doing. But let me go back now to Oliver there. When we talk about entrepreneurship, what I'm hoping as well is, yes, through a conference like this, we're using it to promote that. So for you, what kind of impact do you think a platform like this conference will make on young people who are thinking of starting, business, or already in the business, or wanting to give up due to COVID or challenges? What impact do you think a conference like this will make?
Thank you. I would like to start commenting by, I like President Paul Kagame's initiative. When he became president, he started with a social impact program, because you can't address the issue of development without addressing the issue of societal issues. I think that's number one. Number two is that there's so many events going on. You can be overwhelmed. Events are over today. We are watching World Economic Forum. There's other events going on as we speak. In 2 weeks' time, we have the mining indaba and South and the energy indaba as well. But most events, they do not address, they have activities as what I call nice to have. They don't run programs that looks beyond just an activity.
Right.
So for us at AIEC focuses in 4 pillars, which is one of them, which is of course events. But beyond an event, we have a mentorship program, which is the 9 months program. We call it a hand-holding support, because there's so many confusion factors when you're starting a business. So from idea generation, idea validation, but to setting up a business, a legal entity, and to investor meet. And even after that, you need a hand-holding support to be part of the family, because entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the faint-hearted. So there's so much value that we bring so we're not just organizing this and nice to have, but also addressing the issue of, for example, value addition to industrialization. Most of our farming producers, which is mostly women, they're selling like shea butter, black soap, and all these products as raw material products, and they're getting paid what is very less than what they're supposed to be paid for. So what about we come together as Africans and set up processing plants and do value addition to our raw materials and products? So value addition to industrialization is a key to the development of Africa and development of women and youth. And then number 2, there's a go-to-market strategy. So when you're starting a business, you think that everybody is your customer or everybody is your market. It's not. So you need to have very specific targeted markets. There's quite a lot that you have to do. So we call it an integrated support solution to your business. So we have developed, even for Stellenbosch University, we developed a go-to-market strategy, which is available to share with any entrepreneur that would like to use that. And then also there's the issue of intellectual property and investment. We do not respect IP in Africa. And if you want to do well and build your business like Ford or Google as a multinational, you need to understand how intellectual property and trademarks work as well as investment. Then the last one is mental health. There's an issue, and I saw this during lockdown, and there's always pandemics. You look at Cape Town, we had fires, we had water issue, and then COVID. Now we have electricity issues, and so in business and in life, there's always challenges.
Yes.
Yeah, but there's also an issue of mental health, and how do we address that? And I think it's an issue that working with young people mostly also, and women, I realize that there's quite a lot that we can do to help each other in that area. So there's so much that they can benefit. Those who are looking for access to markets, access to finance. We have people that buying products for exports, but also we have financiers that are looking to fund projects, not as grant, but as equity or loan.
Right, wow. That's a lot of impact, social impact. The 4 pillars, which is really, really important in terms of, for entrepreneurs. So let me now go back to team, partners, here. Mamorena, so for you, how did you get into being an entrepreneur, and how has that been for you, and why? Because here you say you're working with young artists, in the township, so they're looking up to you, I believe. So, how did you get into, being a business owner?
Yeah, that's a very interesting and good question. I think entrepreneurship is a very critical aspect of life, because not everyone is an entrepreneur, and it's all about knowing your why. And
I like that.
Passionate.
I'm hearing that a lot nowadays, knowing your why. What is your why?
Because that drives you, that keeps you going. And as Oliver has highlighted, that there are quite a number of challenges in business as much as there are in real life. So what is it that keeps you at it? It's important to be reminded of it daily, because you're not going to be distracted by any type of challenge that comes your way. And here it's a bit different. I have other consulting business called Matsoso Management and Development Consulting, but here at HITCHAT Entertainment, I'm the CEO. This company was co-founded by 3 persons, Michael Samuelson, Nicole Landgraf, and Eric Cronwell. So the idea here was born from having observed the situation in the townships and realizing how you've struggled and to just showcase their talent and grow and become professionals in their area. And from there, then the idea was, let's identify this youth, develop them, train them to become the professional artists that can be embraced by the world through this T-pop model, which I explained earlier. And this T-pop model is something that was more emulated from what you call the Korean pop, K-pop for short.
Right, see.
So this is what we are doing at HITCHAT, and 4IM is really the first T-pop girl band in Africa that the world has got to see. And the whole idea was to change the lives of those youth coming from disadvantaged communities to become role models of their own peers in the communities where they come from. And that is basically what we want to do, to change the lives of youth as women, as role models, as entrepreneurs themselves, because it's also training them and helping them to understand that being an artist is not just about singing and dancing. It's also understanding that this is business as it is. So how do you manage yourself as an artist while you keep growing? Because we have seen many artists, big artists, falling, you know.
After one song, that's it. You don't hear about them. But that's because they didn't take it as a business. They just took it as them singing.
As them singing. So there was no one to manage this fund that comes, this fame that comes. So how do you learn and build the discipline? Right. And understanding that this is a product, this is a brand. You yourself, you are a brand. You're not just a singer and a dancer. And you have to also protect and understand that it's an entire business as it is. So all those things are what we embed in them. We don't just train them in singing and dancing, which is basically part of what they do daily. We have brought producers who work with them. They now know how to write and compose and produce a song by themselves, working together in collaboration with producers hands-on. Because when we started, we would have songs written by some international producers from Sweden, America, and elsewhere in the world. We have also learned to bring some local producers, and they collaborate with all this diverse group of producers to develop, compose, and produce them. So that is the learning and development that we are imparting in these women that are called 4IM, which is the girl band's name. And it's also about wellness, which Oliver is alluding to in the case of what women can benefit from this. This is exactly what we do. We bring modeling coaches, we bring psychologists.
So an holistic kind of,
it's a holistic 360-degree route
of
development program. So theirs is just to go and be the best that they can be. Right. And we have done really well, because since we launched them in February 2021, they have now achieved almost 13 singles, and of course an EP we released last year, November. We have music videos. The fourth one is coming very soon, hopefully before the end of January. And
I can see how you're so passionate about it. That even you just talking about it's like your baby, you know, in terms of, you know, just turning around. And, you know, for you, it just shows what being a business owner, you know, means to you, and turning around what we find mostly in the township where you work, or how people they grow up. You work and you're meant to just, this is my CV to take it. But say, no, let's look inwards and say, you can run a business and have a business. You know what? We need to have a short break. We'll be right back. Wow. So before we went on the break there, we were having, Mamorena, talking about starting up, in business in the township, what as well for her, what led her into entrepreneurship. So for you, Oliver, and through this platform and this conference that we're having, part of what she said was, young people not being able to, say, I'm singing, because she works with artists, I'm singing, but you need to know about the business itself. And some of them, most of the time, I know they come up with issues of raising capital, access to infrastructure. Those are some of the things I'm sure, some of them will say, I need money, how do I get money? And sometimes it's not about money. But how do you think a young person who wants to start up, as an entrepreneur or start up in business or like in the creative industry or any other sector, to be honest, how do they overcome challenges, like that?
I think number one, it's a cultural thing. So we do not have a culture such as the Chinese or the Jewish, where they learn about entrepreneurship, even blessing. On Chinese New Year, they don't say Happy New Year. They say, may you have tons of money. That's what they say. So they teach them about money. We are taught in our culture that money is bad, rich people are bad, rich people are evil, poor people are greedy, or things like that. So it has to do with the culture. A successful entrepreneur understands what makes a good product, the manufacturing and the production process. One must be able to market it and get good financial understanding. How do we support, for example, let me talk a little bit about the creative sector. Now, the creative sector, music is the sure way of vending emotion. Without music, life would be in vain, for example. But we were told that do something else. If music is not,
because do medicine, do engineering, but not.
So it's very difficult for these entrepreneurs to think, as you say, business-wise. So I think we need to do a lot of capacity building and knowledge sharing in the local communities. Because, for example, the government talk about, we have to create so many jobs in the local community, but these people, they don't even have the education, they don't have water, they have different societal issues. They're more worried about when I'm going to get my next bread. But our platform does help with the mentorship program, which is the hand-holding support, does help to follow up, to have a meaningful follow-up program after an activity, which is an event, and also looking at Goal 17. That's where we are all here from different entrepreneurship ecosystem. Goal 17 of the Millennium Development Goals talks about meaningful collaborations and meaningful partnerships. So we also need to come together as Africans and to rebuild the Africa that we want.
Right. Thank you, Oliver. I love the fact that you keep saying that holding hand support, which I believe is needed for entrepreneurs. So let me now come to you, Mamorena, with that. So who has held your hand? Who has had the greatest influence for you as an entrepreneur, and why? Or who's your mentor? Do you have a mentor? Oh, I was looking at I'm looking at Mamorena.
I'm looking at Mamorena.
It was Tatenda I wanted to say. Sorry, Tatenda. Don't mind me. Okay, Tatenda.
For me, in the beginning, when I started my business, I didn't have a mentor. All I knew was that I want to make a difference.
Right.
I went from corporate to, no, this is not fulfilling. This is not, I need to make a difference. I need to help. Because one of the things that I really live by is that if you want to truly help someone, if you truly want to make a difference, you have to come from a place of empathy, experience, and compassion. So my line of business came from me experiencing the things I teach about, which is hormonal imbalance. But it is such a small niche that you don't know many people that can teach you about this, that can, educate you and hold your hand through it all. It's such a tight-knit community of women that are trying to make a difference in that way. But what I will say is that I had mentors. I only found mentors when I moved to South Africa through a program called Female Entrepreneurs Entrepreneurship, which is FIA, and they're based in Joburg. So they quite literally held my hand and taught me the things that I needed to learn. And also with my life coaching certification, which is where I discovered what I truly wanted to do and how I truly wanted to help, which is Crown for Success, and they are based in the United States. But they can teach from a place from the Western world, from their world, which is quite frankly very different to what we are facing on ground here. So when I did discover FIA, it was an eye-opener for me, just the differences in culture, the difference in just the way things are happening on ground where you are. And that's where I realized that as an entrepreneur, you have to be versatile.
Yeah.
You have to be able to adapt to whatever situation that you are. I can be here in South Africa and teaching about hormone wellness, but then there are challenges in terms of accessibility to the things that you need to gain hormonal balance. How easy is it for us to get organic foods, farm to table foods? How easy is it? How accessible is it? How affordable is it? But when I speak about it in the Western world, in America or in the UK or in Australia, it is more accessible. Affordability is completely different.
Back to what Oliver, part of what he was saying about the culture, the accessibility.
All that makes a difference. And what I realized was that I need to be versatile. My clients in the US are not the same as the clients that I have in South Africa. They're not the same as the clients that I have in Australia or the UK. So being versatile is something that I learned on ground when I got here. So in terms of who inspired me and what inspires me, I would say it is this movement of empowering women.
Right.
That was my biggest drive, because I felt empowered when I finally decided to become an entrepreneur, and networking in these events and networking with these bodies. For example, here what we are being taught by Oliver, this hand-holding program, it is very important, because as an entrepreneur, there is so much that you discover, the many hats that you have to wear, and waking up today you're a marketer, tomorrow you're a salesperson, and tomorrow you're a teacher, tomorrow you're empowering. So having these programs that offer this hand-holding opportunity, I feel are very important. And I was fortunate enough to have two different bodies from both sides of the pond, the Western world as well as here.
So who are you hand-holding now? And I'm hoping you are mentoring some.
Yes.
Some young girls out there, in terms of not just, with you being a life coach and, your work. And I don't need you to name them, but I'm sure you are doing that.
Fortunately, as part of FIA, which is the Female Entrepreneurs Association, I was fortunate or honored to be a part of their Girlpreneur program.
Right. Oh, there you go.
I was part of that in terms of the wellness side, and also guiding females through that. And now, as part of Perfect Symphony, we are now launching a program which is Train the Trainer.
Much
the niche
needed.
that we are in hormone wellness, I realized I can't do it all. I can't be in 10 places at once. So the Train the Trainer program will be going into different societies, different communities, different countries, and teaching what I do to other people, that is becoming a hormone wellness coach, a life coach, as well as a sexual health wellness promoter, so that when you embody this role, it is a holistic role which touches on all the issues regarding female wellness.
I love that. So recreating little Tatenda. Where you go. So let me now go to Daniella there. And I love that, necklace. Can I take it after the program?
You can take half of it.
I can take half of it. Sharing is caring, as we say. So for you, I know you're an author, you're an educator, you're a speaker, and you do so much as well. What has been your biggest achievement, or something you're mostly proud of, that you'll say, I know, as an African, we're not meant to sound our own or to boast about things. But if you were going to boast, today, what would you say has been your biggest achievement?
Just having the privilege and the honor of being able to inspire people and encourage them toward just hope and just their mindsets and their thinking patterns. With my books, just to uplift people, and to, with the children's books to uplift the kids, but also with the memoir that I wrote about my life living with lupus. It's not just a story about lupus and thriving through those challenges that I had, but just also people can take their own challenges and relate to how they can overcome them. Those insurmountable challenges that look impossible, that look incredibly overwhelming, but there's always that just level of hope and just that there's a way out of anything that seems foreboding and seems incredibly huge to you. And so for people to be able to have read my books and to have heard me speak and to have had me coach them and just to have been encouraged and enlightened and empowered in the sense that they see something that's in them and that they can really run with. And it's not really about looking at the person that has inspired them and say, oh, this person's wonderful, this person's great, but to be able to look at them and then to look back at themselves and say, geez, I've got a lot inside of me, what can I bring out of myself? And that for me has been the greatest achievement. There's a quote by Dale Carnegie, and he said, what is charisma? It's the ability to have people talk to you and say, wow, I'm amazing, as opposed to they're amazing. So they can see the greatness in themselves.
I love that.
Through talking to you. And that has been my mission.
Wow.
Yeah.
I honor you and celebrate you for all those achievements, and I'm sure you all, because I'm sure if I ask round the room, what has been your biggest achievement, I think it will probably relate to, you shared some of that based on your work in the township, and part of what you've said as well, in terms of recreating, training the trainers. So what you've learned, you're being able to pass that on, for other young people, especially females and young girls. So let me now go back to Oliver, our leader, an experienced servant leader, I will say. So in terms of entrepreneurship development, you have vast experience. You've done this, you've had businesses, started businesses with no money, took risks, because I know all that story about you up till now. So how crucial would you say for young people in terms of what they need to do with developing Africa? How crucial is the role of today's young African?
It's so crucial that even entrepreneurs themselves have to become active citizens. Because we, as young people, we tend to wait for the government, the state, to bring us support or to create jobs for us, but we need to become active citizens. So the issue of development is so important. But we, as people that have the opportunity to start businesses, whether through resources or no resources, we need to be able to, as she said, train the trainer, go back and give back to our communities. And by training the trainer, you're actually reaching out more people than just people in your circle. So you're reaching out to more people. So we have to encourage, we have to empower societies to become entrepreneurs, because it is only through entrepreneurship we are going to develop Africa and to rebuild Africa, as well as Africa has to unite in addressing this issue of entrepreneurship.
I love that. I love what you said about being active citizens. And I believe there needs to be a course. I know there's a lot of subjects they do in schools now, but probably adding more will make it, I don't know how the young people will cope, but probably there needs to be a course on citizenship.
Citizenship.
Oh, okay.
Citizenship is more, not even just a course, but voluntary. I think Mamorena mentioned discipline earlier, but just voluntary. So when you go, like even before Christmas, I will go to to an NGO, to an organization, and I'll just say, okay, can I save today? Can I help the kids? So it starts with just doing something for your society. Pick up papers in your street. So, I mean, active citizen starts from there. Volunteering, do something good for another and for your community and for your society. And I think that's where we start when it comes to active citizenship.
Yeah, and we need to do more because you're here volunteering as well in terms of being part of a bigger, conference that you believe, there's something I can, do to add, value to this. So let me now come back to you now, Mamorena. Now I'm looking at you. So, and I think this will be the question before we go into a short break, as well. What steps, are necessary for a woman entrepreneur, to take, taking their business from one level to another? Because I know, like you said, you started, from there, and I think you spoke about going from corporate, into becoming an entrepreneur. So what steps would you advise for a female entrepreneur who wants to take the next step, the next level, maybe from being running a business at home from their garage and then moving on to, okay, I want to become an informal trader, have a shop on the street, and then I want to go from that to having a shop in the mall. What are the necessary steps that you think, such a person can take?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I think this is very important because it takes us back to where we started when I said your why is very important. So this starts with the vision, the bigger vision. Where do you see yourself in the next 5, 10, 15 years or foreseeable future? So that is going to guide how you are going to get on with building blocks from where you are, a shop in the street or running business from the house, to running a well-established office or a big retail store elsewhere that many customers are able to see immediately. And that, of course, doesn't happen overnight.
Yes.
It's going to take learning. You're going to learn, take short courses.
Not shortcuts.
Learning, not shortcuts. Because why am I talking about short courses? Because learning does not necessarily mean full degree for everyone. Maybe that's not for everyone.
Exactly.
As important as it is, and I'm a firm believer, I'm also an academic. So this is why I love the doctor. That's why I don't forget you're a doctor. So that's very important. I'm very passionate about it. But I also understand that it's not really for everyone. But it's important for all of us to keep learning. Upskill yourself. Learn about something that you don't know. Learn about something that you want to grow in. And that is going to help you become a better person than you were yesterday. And also, while at it, you're going to seek mentors. You're going to build networks. You get guidance from people who have been in the industry, who have walked the journey that you are traveling. So that is very important because we can't really do it on our own. We need support system. We need to learn from those who have been there. We need to get wisdom from those who have traveled the journey, so that when we encounter these hurdles, we don't think it's end of the road. We know that it's part of the journey, and it's meant to be like that because it builds our character. And it's only through that we become better person, much more stronger, much more resilient when we come across these challenges. And I think the issue of mentorship is also important. I have mentors in business. I think I look up to my biggest excellent mentor, Professor Michael Summerson, who is one of the co-founders at HITCHAT. I think having worked very closely with him, I see him as someone who really always thinking of the next step. What do you keep doing to make sure that you succeed and become the best person that you are? So you don't really rest on your laurels. It's good to say, wow, I've done it, get a pat on the shoulder. But you don't rest on it. You keep moving, you keep growing, you keep learning. And it all also comes from the discipline that we have to build and learn to grow in. And remembering my grandfather was a businessman.
So
Discipline
you
was his
had
signature.
that in the family as well.
Discipline was his signature. So those are some of the key things that I still take in every area, that you have to be disciplined. And it's not easy. Because not everyone wants to grow up, wake up in the morning and thinking, what is it that I have to do? People want to take it easy, have fun, relax first, a lot more before, but it's important that we do the important things and then we can have...
No, I love that.
Later.
Lifelong learning, upskilling yourself, not taking the shortcut, taking learning courses, not necessarily, about what you've, studying or going back to school.
Yeah.
And not, what you just said there, business. A lot of people think, for me, I say, not a lot, I think I'm generalizing now, but sometimes some young people think, starting off a business, man, I just wake up anytime I want, I just do my own thing. You earn the first money, and you can spend it, you start spending your income already, and discipline is quite important. But on that note, we need to be disciplined. We need to be back and have a break. We'll be right back. Wow, what interesting conversation and very insightful, so much to learn from, and so much as well, in terms of, what you guys are doing and what to look out for as well, with the conference coming up, in March, the African Global and Investment Mission Conference. So I'm just thinking, Oliver, here, you wear so many hats, you into art, you have a family, you're into all this program, and I know we only met last year, but already I feel I know you and can see that you juggle a lot of that. So how do you balance work-life, experience? And you probably have children as well.
Of course.
Are you even there? Do your children see you?
Of course, yes, you know me. But thank you so much. I think there's a couple of things, especially for those that are not married. Before you get married, I think there's a lot of things that you do not know, but you should prepare for. One of them is communication about parenting, about bills, bank accounts, a number of issues. They are very important that you discuss them before you enter into a marriage. What makes you happy, what makes you angry, what makes you sad, how you want to be loved. I'm a person who don't like coffee in bed by nature. Just give an example. But how do you create a balance between your work? So when you communicate, a lot of communication before a marriage or a relationship or engagement, then it's easier, because you communicate and you keep the communication door open. But it's very important for you to know your responsibilities, whether your husband, your wife, your brother or sister. And one of them is knowing that when I'm in this session, in this boardroom where I'm sitting, I'm at work. So only when it's something serious that can't wait, then they will call me. But if it's something that it can wait for lunchtime, I will check on them at lunchtime. When you're at home with them, it's also, you can't be on your phone every time.
Yeah.
You can't be writing the way you're writing every time. That's family responsibilities. And especially for women, don't leave certain things to your maid or to the house help. I understand women empowerment and all that, but don't leave very important things. Of course, the house help can help, but there are certain things that you have to know when you, after work, when you
take
go
control.
Home, you have to take control of your home and protect your home. It's a little bit difficult to really balance. Of course, they say life is about balance, excellence, but you just need to know your responsibility at that moment. And also, I do weekly, like Thursdays is mostly a day that I normally like to go out and just have like your family dinner. So
you have a day that you've designated and say, this is a family day.
But it also depends on where I am in terms of work. Sometimes it's on a Sunday, it's on a Saturday, it's on a Monday. But mostly we prefer Thursday because Thursday, there's something special about Thursday for me. I was born on a Thursday.
Oh, Thursday child. Thursday
Yeah.
child is full of grace. I think
Yeah.
that's what there's a poem that we used to, when I was growing
Let's
up.
look for it.
Wednesday child is da da da. Thursday child is full of grace. That's what I just remember. But look for
Maybe
it.
it's because of the grace. I think the grace is sufficient. But the communication with all this is the key, and knowing your responsibilities.
Right. So I don't want to ask that question to all women, but I want to ask a view from one of you about that, because his perspective is probably different from, we women, because we're known to be always multitasking. I mean, even though men don't agree with us, because I have this quarrel with my husband most of the time. It's like, no, you can't multitask. You can only focus. And when I'm like, no, we women can multitask. So I want to hear, Daniella, how do you balance, work and life? And at the same time, how do you promote your business as well, market your business?
Balance. Sure. I think it's a lot to do with, I journal a lot. And I think journaling is really important in terms of just, they say, John Maxwell says reflection is you don't learn from experience, you learn from reflected or evaluated experience. And I find that, when I do journal, I'm able to really find the right perspective and just gain pearls from from just evaluating things that have happened to me and being able to move forward based on that.
I see.
Balance, just also, I think my faith centers me a lot as well. That and just having people that can having different types of people in your life that can cheerlead you on, that can encourage you, that can challenge you, that can push you, and that can support you as well in various ways. So that, and then how I promote my business, I just word of mouth, also just networking is important as well. And then having those people that can encourage you and that can support you. But
as we say in Africa, your village. Who is your village? Having your village.
Yes,
who is your village?
And people that you can support as well. So from
the other side.
Yes, from all levels.
Okay. So let me, I think I'm going to ask the same question because this is our final segment. So for you, Mamorena, how do you balance life, work, and how do you promote yourself? Is it like what Daniella is saying, you need to have a village, your cheerleaders, and do you journal, as well? What do you do to balance? Do you go to the gym, or I don't know, what do you do?
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a good one. Most people think maybe I hardly even. They think I like working too much. But I think balance for me means also looking after your health, taking care of your people, making sure that you keep in touch. For me, I stay very far from family. Most of our family is in Lesotho, so I understand. But from time to time, you need to keep in touch. You also have a support system, friends that are close by, whether prayer groups. Those are the people that keep you going, that you know that there are certain things that you can, table, and you have people who are with you and who understand really what you're going through. But also, like waking up in the morning, going for a jog before I start working. I like taking walks, like doing jogs in the morning. So that actually kind of clears my mind and I'm able to focus, when I start my day. So I do that most of the time. At least, if all possible, I try to do that 3 to 4 times a week. And then...
And are you disciplined enough for that 3 to 4 times a week? I know. I'm reaching some of my goals 3 to 4 times. I'm like, okay, once. If it's once, it's good enough. But some days you get it right.
So true. But I also believe time management as well, because like we say, as leaders, also students, at the same time, we have other matters you have to address, your family matters somewhere. So all those things requires one to be able to be mindful of their time and how they're going to manage it. Because if you are not able to do that well as well, you may find yourself spending much time on one thing and all others lagging behind. Easier said than done, but I think it's one key thing that we need to do, and at least I try to make sure that I work around that most of the time.
So now do you know how do you market your business?
So marketing our business, creative industry, as you know.
Because it must be tough.
It's quite tough and growing as an artist. We're talking about upcoming artists here, a new model altogether that not anyone has heard of before I Am was born. So we are really trying to break boundaries, making sure that people accept, people appreciate, people get to know and understand, and people buy into the product. So we market our music almost everywhere. We go to also townships. We are on different social media platforms. We are on digital platforms. We are Spotify. But we also try to go on the ground, get in touch with the
grassroots,
which is where our target market is, because this is music by township for township communities. And we really have to hit the ground and make sure that the music is received by the right target market.
Right. No, thank you. I like that. So, Tatenda, where are you from? Because I can see everybody: Lesotho, Ghana, Zimbabwe, Nigeria. And I know you said when you came into South Africa. Can I ask where you're from?
I am from Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. Okay. All right.
Zimbabwe,
okay.
And got to see the world quite a bit. Fortunate enough to see the world.
Also, so for you as well, is it like what they've said, there in terms of work-life balance, and how do you promote your business?
When it comes to work-life balance, it's something that it took me getting burnt out for me to realize that it was time to, I was one of those people that overthinks. I was one of those people that as long as my phone and my laptop is next to me, I'm working. I couldn't even watch a TV show because something will inspire me and I start working.
Are you sure we're not sisters?
I go on social media, I see something, I'm like, oh, this would be great for my business, and I'm back to work. It took total burnout for me to realize that no, something has got to give and I need to stop. And I found that working out is my outlet, because sometimes the work that we do gets very heavy. You absorb things, you internalize things, and it has to go somewhere. It can't just stay inside, because otherwise it's just going to implode. So I took to working out, and I had an amazing personal trainer called Daz, and he really taught me discipline. He taught me the need to use my working out not just for the physical changes, but also the mental changes, the emotional changes, and just having that outlet. Another thing is I have an amazing tribe. I call them my tribe.
Right. I'm learning one today. Village, tribe. Okay.
I have an amazing support system, from family to friends to people that I have had a really tough day. I can just call and say, who's cooked? Today I'm burnt, and I go over, or guys, come over to mine, let's have a wine down, and we call it mom juice, because my friends, they're all moms, we just stand for mom juice, and just to relax that way. And also another thing is like Daniella said, faith. Sometimes all your support system, all your tribe, they might not get it. And
they might be experiencing their own.
They might be going through it as well. And just talking to God and just having a conversation. I believe God answers in His own way that is unique to you, and just letting it all out, and you find that you sleep peacefully. And also rest is very important. Knowing that I need my rest, otherwise I am useless to everyone when I'm a zombie. So I really have learned to prioritize my rest. In terms of marketing my business, it has been through marketing, and also it has been through networking. All these events that I attend, a lot of people say, "Oh my gosh, your social life is amazing," and I'm thinking, God, it's work with a little bit of play that's sprinkled, but a lot of networking because I feel that word of mouth is so powerful. I actually have a friend of mine who's also an entrepreneur, and he says that your word of mouth is my oxygen. And I said, that is really profound. And it is true, because it is through one person saying, "Oh, you're having troubles with your woman. I know just the person." And then now I have a client, and then they'll say, "Oh, and my mom, and my sister, oh, and this," and then it all spreads. And I can safely say that my business has grown tremendously through word of mouth and networking.
Oh, and I need that your personal trainer's contact.
Yes.
Maybe I need a little bit of that. Maybe, because I can relate to all what you said there. Wow, those are powerful and profound, ways of balancing, and I'm glad, we heard from you all, in terms of that. And I want to finish with that before I go on to Oliver. With you guys, what does it feel like being part of this team? Just in a quick, maybe one word, actually. Being part of the team for the African Global and Investment Conference and working behind the scene. Maybe just sum it up in one word. I know Daniella will come with something. She's been giving us all the quotes and everything. So come up with that big word, for you, what this means, being part of this team.
Privileged.
Okay, right. Okay. You see, I told you. Well, start thinking of another thing. Okay. Privileged. Just one word.
It's, well, I have many words, so I have to think of one word.
Okay. Out of the many, go. Keep us, tell us the many, and I will help you pick the one.
Well, I was saying building relationships.
Okay, so relationship. Okay, building relationship. Okay, all right. 2 words, we allowed that. You allowed 3 then. She did the 1, 2, you allowed 3.
I think for me, it has been truly humbling and also empowering at the same time.
Okay, so you've done 2. Humbling and empowering. You did 3, and so you've done that. Okay, so no, thank you. Let's go now to Oliver. With this final question. If I know there's been a lot of tips and advice. Powerful female entrepreneurs have given us. There. What advice would you give in addition to what they've shared? Because from what they've shared, I could hear a lot of tips, in there. So what advice will you give to someone, as a business leader to succeed in Africa? And 2 sentences, not, because we have to wrap up. I've been told we need to wrap up.
The very notion of entrepreneurship is how best you can really help those who can't help themselves. Just last few comments is that I think they talk a lot around sacrifice. I think there's a lot of sacrifice if you want to become an entrepreneur, because it is the purpose and the passion that drives you when you're not making money on that. But what advice do I would give to a business leader that would like to succeed? Attend the AIEC conference in March, because you can learn proven strategies from a tribe that is experienced. You can have access to information and knowledge sharing, mentorship, sector-specific mentors, investments. So we have an integrated, holistic solution for you. And this is an event that you can't miss in 2023. Thank you.
Thank you. And it leads me to I didn't tell you I had a final one. To close in that final one, you already touched on it, which basically, how do we get to attend? What do we need to do? Is there a closing date? I know we're going to share the social media contact at the end, but I want you to say it and maybe say it to them directly by looking in the camera.
Thank you so much. So we will be hosting you in Cape Town, Tatenda, Stellenbosch, Cape Town, South Africa. So for those that have already inquired first, the due date is on the 6th of February. So make sure that we are on the first come, first served basis. So you can't miss out this one. But yes, reach out to us whether you want to become a partner, a speaker, an exhibitor, or you just want to be a conference delegate where you can learn from other sector-specific mentors. We'll be sharing the links and the social media below. Thank you.
Wow. I think you should all give yourselves a round of applause. You survived me for how long? I don't know how long we've been here. And it's been awesome. We're in the beautiful boardroom of Invest SA. I don't know whether I'm allowed to say that. So you can come and find out what they're about. Thank you, Invest SA, for giving us this boardroom to do this. And thank you, for the time, you guys have come for us to share, about this, not just about the conference, about what you do, how it can inspire others, showcasing your story, showcasing your life and some of your struggles, a little bit, of that. And kudos to you, Oliver, for bringing this powerful, amazing three women, onto you, and a lot of other people, because I've been blessed, with the meet and greet. I've only attended one or two, but I just felt, wow. This is going to be amazing conference, and I can't wait, for that day. So very quickly, round the room, anything else you want to say? I'm being told wrap up. So anything else that we haven't said? And this is all Africa you're seeing in here. I told you, I'm Nigerian, Scottish, British, South African, and which other countries do I claim? I can't remember. Ghana. But now, I think I haven't got my Ghana name. I've got my Ghana name now. So, but yeah, I'm Ajua. No, I'm not Ajua. I need to remember. I can't remember which one now. So, Tatenda, anything? And then we'll just finish with Oliver. Anything else that we haven't said that you want to say directly to anyone out there?
Anyone that is interested in this conference, don't hesitate to come, because the power lies in our hands, and if we truly want to be great again as a continent, this would be your opportunity to take part in that and make the first step and first move.
Thank you. Mamorena?
Thank you. Any woman leader in business, this is just for you. This is a global entrepreneurship conference, so don't miss it. Make sure that you take the advantage, come and learn from investors, build networks, and who knows, you might be the next big thing tomorrow. Thank you.
Daniella?
Yeah, being an entrepreneur is also about taking initiative and creating and jumping in and taking those opportunities. So don't miss out on this opportunity. Register for the conference, attend. You won't regret it.
And Oliver?
Thank you so much. Our theme this year is building intra-Africa trade. And this is an opportunity for us as Africans to unite and to build the hashtag Africa that we want. So yes, I want to recommend you and say register today and don't miss out on a great opportunity. And thank you to Board Most Africa and Impact Africa program. Thanks to the entire team. I really appreciate you for everything that you're doing. We don't take it for granted. And yes, the future is bright. Thank you.
Yeah, the power lies in our hands. Don't miss it. Come and learn. You won't regret it. We're building Africa trade. You cannot afford to miss it. The details will be shown, and share. That's all. It's a wrap. And this is Makayi saying, stay safe, stay blessed, God bless. Till next time. See you soon.
Salute.
All you say bye-bye in your language. Say bye-bye.